A crisis of trust, declining professionalism in Kenyan law enforcement. Kenya, a nation renowned for its vibrant spirit and breathtaking landscapes, finds itself grappling with a growing shadow over its law enforcement agencies. What was once a beacon of hope and security has become tarnished by allegations of corruption, brutality, and a blatant disregard for the very laws they swore to uphold. This decline in professionalism casts a long shadow over the nation, breeding fear and distrust amongst its citizens. The erosion of public trust is palpable. Stories abound of extrajudicial killings, enforced disappearances, and routine extortion, painting a grim picture of an institution seemingly operating with impunity. The police force, meant to protect and serve, is increasingly perceived as a threat, particularly by the most vulnerable segments of society. This crisis of faith in law enforcement strikes at the very heart of Kenyan society. It undermines the rule of law, erodes public safety, and perpetuates a climate of fear and silence. The question remains, can Kenya bridge this trust deficit and restore its people's faith in those meant to protect them? Vanished without a trace, abductions plague Kenyan youth. A particularly disturbing trend has gripped Kenya in recent years: the alarming rise in abductions of young Kenyans. These disappearances, often shrouded in mystery and met with deafening silence from authorities, have left families shattered and communities living in fear. Take the case of Kamau, a bright university student and aspiring journalist known for his vocal criticism of government corruption. He vanished without a trace one evening, last seen bundled into an unmarked car by men claiming to be police officers. His family's desperate pleas for information have been met with dead ends and indifference, their hopes dwindling with each passing day. Kamau's story is tragically not unique. Countless families across Kenya share a similar narrative. A loved one, often young and outspoken, disappears, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and a gnawing sense of injustice. These abductions point to a sinister undercurrent within the Kenyan security apparatus, one that operates outside the bounds of law and accountability. Seeking refuge, finding fear asylum seekers caught in the crossfire. The deteriorating security situation in Kenya has dire consequences, not only for its citizens but also for those seeking refuge within its borders. Foreign nationals fleeing persecution and conflict, hoping to find safety and a new beginning, instead find themselves entangled in a web of suspicion and fear. Asylum seekers, already vulnerable and traumatized, become easy targets for exploitation and abuse. Reports surface of refugees and asylum seekers being arbitrarily detained, extorted, and even deported back to the very dangers they fled. The very institutions meant to protect them become perpetrators, further compounding their plight. The plight of asylum seekers in Kenya highlights the far-reaching consequences of a law enforcement system in crisis. It underscores the urgent need for comprehensive reforms, ensuring the protection of all individuals within Kenya's borders, regardless of their origin or status. A nation on edge, repercussions, and the urgent need for reform. The crisis of professionalism within Kenyan law enforcement has profound and far-reaching consequences. It erodes public trust, fuels impunity, and perpetuates a cycle of violence and fear. The impact is felt not only by individuals but by Kenyan society as a whole. The economy suffers as foreign investment dwindles, deterred by concerns over security and the rule of law. Social cohesion frays as communities, once bound by trust, retreat into themselves, fearful of those meant to protect them. The very fabric of Kenyan society is threatened by this erosion of law and order. Addressing this crisis requires a multifaceted approach. It demands a complete overhaul of law enforcement agencies, rooting out corruption, and fostering a culture of accountability and transparency. It necessitates robust oversight mechanisms to investigate and prosecute abuses of power. Most importantly, it requires a fundamental shift in mindset, one that prioritizes the rule of law and the protection of human rights above all else. The future of Kenya, as a just and equitable society, hinges on its ability to confront this crisis head-on and emerge stronger, with a renewed commitment to justice and the rule of law.